So, the usual suspects are losing their minds because someone from the group that raided the Capitol had a Punisher skull on an American flag, and it's so small it's barely noticeable, but this is what it looks like. This, apparently, triggered the so-called professionals into frothing spasms of tism because God forbid someone wear a fictional character's logo. The level of pure retardation is unreal, which explains this tweet from Jamal Igle, aka Claire Huxtable, ghetto attorney at law. Quote, "I don't take this lightly. It's time for Marvel to put the Punisher out to pasture. The concept is corrupted." If Jamal Igle rubbed two brain cells together, his head would explode from the prospect of having a thought. But since he's so interested in putting the Punisher out to pasture, maybe he should lead the way. His dumbass tweet was one of many tweets like this, demanding Marvel stop using Punisher because people they don't like wore his logo. Of all the petty reasons to get rid of a character, this is what you choose. And you think this will work? Like everyone will magically forget the Punisher existed, all the existing merchandise with his logo will disappear, and that no one, absolutely no one, would defy you and Marvel by talking about Frank Castle. You want them to retire the character because people you don't like use the logo? Not only does it make you massive pussies, it also makes you hypocrites, which is how we get this tweet from Comic Tropes, quote, "The seditionists." First of all, they're not seditionists. They're mostly peaceful protesters. That's what you guys called Antifa and BLM as they incited rebellion against the authority of the state all summer in 2020. Every time they looted a building, burned businesses, raided homes, destroyed monuments, broke into federal buildings, and assaulted and killed people, all of which was supported and encouraged by Democrat members of Congress and state officials, they were mostly peaceful protesters. So if those people were mostly peaceful protesters, then so were the people at the Capitol, which, incidentally, turns out to be true. The seditionists that invaded the Capitol today wore a Punisher logo. I say Marvel needs to either aggressively enforce their trademark so it isn't printed everywhere, or abandon the Punisher completely. You can't allow your characters to be used by terrorists. Except here, and here, where Marvel allowed their characters to be used by terrorists. You support these people, who are the same people who murdered David Dorn, a retired cop who tried to stop BLM from looting his friend's store, shot and killed in the street to the complete silence of the left. Or Sequoia Turner, an 8-year-old black girl killed by roving bands of mostly peaceful protesters who decided to take over a Wendy's parking lot and shoot anyone who tried to enter, again, to the left's complete silence. These terrorists paraded around dressed as Spider-Man and other comic book characters as people were being beaten in the streets with full support from the left. These just happen to be terrorists you support, so I guess it's okay when they do it. But your option for the mostly peaceful protesters you don't like is for Marvel to retire the character of Punisher or enforce a stringent trademark policy. Right. 2 points. 1, there's a limit to what Marvel, or rather Disney, can actually do because a trademark only protects trade. If people are making and selling the logo, Disney may be able to enforce it. But if someone makes it for themselves or gives them away, there's nothing Disney can do about it. But let's say you have your way. Well, if that's the case, the most stringent enforcement will result in them pulling down your channel, genius. Your videos are monetized, which means every time you display one of their trademarks, you make money off it. And since your channel is specifically about comics, it's clear you're deliberately trying to profit from using their work. So if they enforce the trademarks as you want, they'll pull your channel. Brilliant move. Oh, you can try demonetizing the channel, but that wouldn't work because you're still using their trademark logos. So they could always just monetize the videos themselves and get the money. Don't take my word for it. Look at what's happened to people using copyrighted music, film, and video game segments, and read YouTube's monetization and copyright claim policy. Anyone using those images in videos, as banners, or just in passing in any way that brings traffic to them, let alone makes them money, would violate the policy. You'd cripple your own channel, along with hundreds of others, just to spite people who disagree with you politically. 2, the policy would also apply to artists who sell fan art. Disney could sue them for making and selling sketches, illustrations, or prints of their characters. Contrary to what Phil Noto said, copyright and trademark law does allow a company to prohibit the selling of drawings for personal collections, especially if you're advertising that you're doing it. The moment you make a profit or attempt to, you violate their copyright or trademark. So there goes 80% of artist alleys at conventions. Most of the people there are selling fan art or professional work of copyrighted and trademark characters. You completely destroy that because someone you don't like wore a character's logo. You're going to put into place a draconian policy to punish your so-called enemies, and you stupidly think it'll never apply to you? Eventually, you're going to say something they don't like. Maybe about politics, maybe about a person, or maybe Disney won't like your take on their characters. And when they come for you, and they will come for you, who will you turn to, having burned down all those who could have supported you? But you know what? I'm willing to let you have your way. Go ahead. Start canceling characters because people you don't like them. Start punishing people you don't like for wearing logos of characters you love. Start enforcing the most stringent trademark policies imaginable. Do it. And when you find your channel being disappeared by the digital Stasi, just remember.
Get what you fucking deserve!